Today we're gonna learn so much from Gia.
Hello.
So where are you at right now, Gia?
Okay, well, first of all, Assalamualaikum everyone, and thank you so much, Fariha, for inviting me uh, to be here. I'm currently in Kota Kinabalu, so it's in Sabah, part of Malaysia, but it's in the eastern part of Malaysia. So yeah, but I'm originally from Indonesia.
So mashallah. So you are an advocate when it comes to halal travel. Like when did it start? Like, how
Wow, okay.
it all began. We wanna
Uh-huh.
know your story.
Okay, yeah. So think yeah, I consider myself as a halal travel enthusiast, and I think I've been doing this for quite some time. I guess the first time, if I can remember clearly, it was because my trip to Vietnam back in 2018. So back then, because I aware that I was traveling to a country that Muslim is not the majority, and then at that time, I think I already built some awareness on halal food, halal things, those kind of matters. So it appears to me like I I'm more aware of that, so that I research on that matters before I traveled to Vietnam. And then, yeah, it went on when I traveled to Japan and to Singapore and also in Malaysia as well. I tend to research beforehand so that I have some information with me, and hopefully it can help. Those information that I already gathered can help me to travel easily in the country that, yeah, where I'm travel
So
in.
when was
Mm-mm.
this?
It was so I should say it started back in 2018, end of 2018, to be exact.
It's been a long
So
time.
yeah, it's
Thank you so much for sharing that with us. So your journey in Malaysia, how long have
mm-mm. So yeah, actually I'm currently doing my master degree here in Malaysia. So I came here in August. So in August 2022 back. So it's been like how many? Like 6 months, I guess. So it's been great so far because actually years back I was here as well for my undergraduate degree, but I didn't travel that much back then. But Alhamdulillah, my second time, I guess I have another chance to be in Malaysia, and I happily say that I traveled a lot, I guess, and also I'm in Kota Kinabalu right now. I've never been here before, so I'm excited to explore more of what this part of Malaysia have.
yeah, with the pandemic and all things have changed.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, you have prepared so much for us. So
Mm-mm. Inshallah, I can share some things so
it
that
is
it can
very
ease.
interesting.
Yeah.
So maybe just a little bit of snippets. What can we start with your background?
Ta-da! Yeah, it's basically a village on top of a mountain called Wairabo Village. So if you've ever heard of Labuan Bajo, and the biggest city is Flores, so it's like uh 70 kilometers away from Flores, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, you have to hike the mountain like around 3 hours, and then you can stay with the locals as well. So the house is like that. So it's really unique. And yeah, if you have a chance, let's say in Labuan Bajo, take some time to hike the mountain and be in this village as well.
So you can actually stay in that hut in Labuan
Yeah,
Bajo.
yeah, yeah. For a night at that time. So usually, yeah, usually, uh, traveler tourists, they can stay for a night, and then you can actually gather with the locals, and then you had dinner with them as well. You have some coffee, you can play with the kids. So yeah, it's really amazing up here because it's not like something that you don't really see down there, like not in the mountains. So yeah, it's something that's unique.
Very healing. But
Ta-da!
yeah, anybody who's interested with on that can ask Gia.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, today at a glance,
Mm-hmm.
maybe like one word from this, what can we expect? Yeah.
Basically, we're going to talk about how to travel in a halal way in Indonesia, but we're going to specifically talk about how to travel in Jakarta, which it's the capital city, and then we're going to touch a little bit on Bali and something beyond Bali as well. We're going to keep it that.
All right, all right. I'm excited. I think our community here is also very excited. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, this is my favorite topic.
Because I think Ramadan is like 70 days away, if I'm not
Yes, it's
mistaken.
very
Yeah, right.
coming
It's
very soon.
so it's coming in a very short time. So yeah, we're going to talk something about
How
Ramadan
is it
in
like
Indonesia.
Ramadan in Indonesia? I know Malaysia
Uh-huh.
and Indonesia, we are like
Uh-uh.
very similar, but
Right.
also very different. I'm sure you guys have something that that we don't have, that
Mm-hmm.
don't know. We want to know what, from a local's perspective,
Mm-hmm.
what should they expect? What should they go for? What should they eat and
Mm-hmm.
experience, when they perhaps, inshallah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I think both Indonesia and Malaysia were the same in terms of we're both Muslim majority countries. So same thing in Indonesia. It's multicultural, but yeah, most of the population is Muslim. So Ramadan is a huge celebration in Indonesia, not only for the Muslims but like for everyone, because it's the vibe is really different during Ramadan, right? So this is just a snippet of what are the things that you can have uh, to break your fast during Ramadan. So yeah, as I'm sure I think in some Muslim majority countries we have something like this, like Bazaar Ramadan, and I'm sure you have it as well in Malaysia. In Indonesia, I'm talking about specifically in Jakarta for now. So there are many places that have Bazaar Ramadan. So a lot of sellers selling different things, but one of the bazaars that you have to visit because it's very popular during Ramadan, it's the one in Ben Hill or Bendungan Hilir. So it's in the central of Jakarta. So this is just
So this is
a snippet of how it looks
So
like.
if
So
I want to go to Jakarta, I must
uh,
go to Ben Hill. But then all of throughout Jakarta, you can find Bazaar Ramadan.
right,
Correct?
right. Especially if you go to places nearby the mosque, like it's very easy to find Bazaar Ramadan because you usually like on normal days they don't have this kind of bazaar, but when it's Ramadan time, like suddenly there's this bazaar popping up everywhere. So
Yeah.
it's really happening. It's easy to find Bazaar Ramadan all around the city, but this one is one of the biggest bazaar.
Biggest bazaar.
And
And mashallah, this is very yummy, Gia. When people talk about Southeast Asia,
mm,
they talk about the street food, but the
mm-hmm,
street food
right,
in Ramadan and Eid, it's a different kind of street food. And
right, mm-hmm,
we have Muslimah from all around the world. They don't know what to buy, So perhaps you can share with us what are these. I
yeah,
myself, like even though I understand basic in the Indonesian language,
mm.
understand like kolak. Yeah.
Okay,
What
so basically if you see the word takjil, that's what we call the food or the snacks that we have to break our fast. So takjil is something that we have to have at home So, what are the usual takjil that we buy? So, first thing first is gorengan. So, goreng is basically fried. So, goreng is fried in Indonesia. So, gorengan is basically a assorted of fried food. So, it's a banana, fried banana. It's vegetable fritters. It's the soybean, tofu, cassava, everything fried. I know it's not the healthiest food to be eaten, especially after you fast during the day, but it's somewhat a bit incomplete if you don't have gorengan at home to break your fast. So this is something that you have to try when you're in Indonesia. You can find it everywhere basically. And then for martabak, okay, martabak, there are two types of martabak. As you can see, there's the manis, which is the sweet one, and then martabak telur, which is the savory one. So we're going to talk about the martabak manis first. So if you can see, it's actually a pancake, but a thicker version of pancake. So the usual filling is like the original filling is usually sugar with condensed milk, but then there are variety of filling as well. Like you can add cheese, you can add chopped peanuts, and then chocolate sprinkles. So you can have different things inside the pancake. So as you can see, this one has chocolate and peanut and cheese in it.
So, which one is perhaps like the most famous that people would go to? Like
I,
sometimes you choose.
I think people still go with the original one, so sugar and condensed milk, because it's not too much. It's just enough sweetness, so it's not too overpowering. Like
You just
everything.
like if I were like, I don't,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, I'm from the Middle East or what.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
I went to in Jakarta, but
Mm-hmm.
here to buy takjil, I tell
Mm-hmm.
them martabak manis original, is it?
Yeah, right. Martabak manis original. They usually have the menu, and then they put it there. So original or chocolate, keju. Keju is cheese. Kacang is peanut. So they have different types. Or for easier way, you can just uh point out to the seller, and then they usually will be okay with that as well. And then another thing for the savory version is martabak telur. So telur is egg in Indonesia. Basically, it's a mixture of egg and then green onion and then some minced meat as well. They usually use beef minced meat, and then for they wrap it in this thin like dough and then fried it, deep fried, and then yeah, it's nice to be eaten like right after it come out from the fryer. uh yeah, and people
Then you have to
usually
buy this literally like 1 hour before breaking fast.
yeah. So I think yeah, one hour is usually the safe time to get your takjil, because like if you go more than that, the seller will already like finish everything and people already like preparing all the food at home. So get your takjil like 1 hour before Maghrib. So Maghrib is usually around 6 p.m. in Jakarta. And then another thing, biji salak and kolak. These two desserts are very famous, especially during Ramadan. Even though you can actually have it in like normal days, but during Ramadan, people always look for this too. So biji salak is actually it's a sweet potato balls that is cooked in palm sugar syrup and then drizzled with coconut milk sauce. So that's biji salak. And then for kolak, kolak is another dessert as well. So it's made of again palm sugar, coconut milk, and pandanus leaf. So the common one is people use banana, so add in the banana, but for a more complete version, like the one that you see here, you can also add cassava and sweet potato. So it's a more complete version of kolak. So both biji salak and kolak, you can have it warm or cold. The food, well, I'm sure many other things out there and different areas they probably have different things, but this is just a general idea of what kind of tajil that you can have when you're in Indonesia or in Jakarta.
But besides Ramadan, is it
Hmm.
possible to get this?
Yeah. It's
Possible.
possible. It's
So, but
possible.
it's
It's
more
just
celebrated during Ramadan.
exactly because like after the fast, you want something sweet, you want something savory, you want all the
I'm hungry.
tastes.
Let's move on.
So yeah, so this is
Okay.
all
So
the
after
food.
Ramadan,
Yes, and this is Masjid Istiqlal. So again, we're still talking about Jakarta. So Istiqlal Mosque is the largest mosque in Southeast Asia, actually.
mashallah,
So it's in Jakarta, central of Jakarta.
very huge.
So yeah, it's very huge. Basically, it was built to celebrate the Indonesian independence. So it's the national mosque of Indonesia, and then Istiqlal means independence, if I'm not mistaken, in Arabic. So yeah, that's why it's to celebrate the independence. So yeah, this is something that yeah, it's a mosque that you have to visit as well, because
So sorry.
mm-hmm,
So
mm-hmm.
Eid prayers. What time should they be there? Because like
Ah,
I can see
right,
there's so many people with Jakarta is famous for its traffic and stuff.
mm-mm, mm-mm.
When should they be there?
So I think, well, to be honest, I've never been in Istiqlal as well for my Eid prayer because it's quite far from where I live. But to be safe, I guess you can be there starting from the Fajr. So Fajr is usually around 4:30 in Jakarta. So if you are able to travel quite early in the morning, so it's better to save your place uh starting from the Fajr, and then Eid prayer is usually around 6:30 to 7. So it depends, so around that time, so you have some time to be inside the mosque. And then yeah, as you mentioned, because Jakarta's traffic is can be quite crowded, especially because it's a biggest mosque as well. So a lot of yeah, you can expect that a lot of people traveling here to pray. Yeah, you can meet different people as well.
Mashallah, mashallah. But
Mm,
I think that's also like one of the ways to meet the Muslim community is during
exactly.
like like I when I was in Washington
Mm-hmm.
years ago, I was surprised that Eid prayers there. I think it was 10 a.m.
Oh,
So
okay.
this kind of
Interesting.
things
It's good.
maybe it's
Uh-huh.
different places they start Eid prayers. So it's good to know
Mm-mm.
what time
Exactly. Mm-mm.
so that when you come there you're not so I could have come a bit later. So
Yeah, exactly.
sharing
Exactly.
that with us.
Mm-mm.
So you
Mm.
are familiar with Jakarta,
Yes.
born and raised?
Yeah, well, I wasn't born in Jakarta specifically, but yeah, I live. Even I don't live specifically in Jakarta, but I grew up there. I do a lot of my activities in Jakarta, so I know how to travel around in Jakarta as well.
So yes, so getting to the meat of today's
Yes.
life. So what can Muslim women expect when they travel solo to
Mm-mm.
Jakarta?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so if you've never heard of Jakarta before, if you ask someone that's been to Jakarta, so the first thing that say they say about Jakarta must be about the traffic, because the traffic is can be a bit yeah, it makes you headache. So there are
But I
different
feel like all
transportation.
pretty much
Big
every
cities.
capital cities are like that.
Yeah, I think so.
Kuala
I think
Lumpur
so.
is like
But
that.
it's always the first word that come up from everyone who's already traveled to Jakarta. Oh my gosh, the traffic jam is crazy. Oh my. So it's always about the traffic jam or macet. Macet, that's how we call it in Indonesian. So to ease our commuting life, there are different types of transportations that you can use when in Jakarta. So the first one, if you see here, there's a commuter, or we usually call it KRL, KRL or KRL in Indonesian. And then we have MRT, and then the next one is Transjakarta. But actually, we have one more transportation which is recently launched, which is LRT. So that's the newest one. So what's the difference between this transportation for KRL or commuter? So it's usually you can use this to travel around Jakarta and the outer skirts. So basically the greater Jakarta. For MRT, this one connects the southern part of Jakarta to the central part of Jakarta. But I think they're doing some construction as well to prolong the the trip, so you can hopefully inshallah in the future you can travel more, not only to the central part of Jakarta but to the eastern part of Jakarta as well. And then for Transjakarta, this is actually a bus, but they have their own
route.
route. So other cars, other vehicle cannot enter
Okay.
that one. So it's
their own lane. Okay.
Yeah, they have their own ways. So why people like using Transjakarta as well? Because yeah, there's no other vehicle in that way, so it's not gonna be like affected by the traffic and all. So yeah, and then if you see
There's
here,
like so
there
many cards
are
here.
different cards here. Basically,
Can we
because
just use one card?
yes, because this is, if you see, there are some different banks. They come out with different cards, so that's why we have different types of cards here. But yeah, you can just choose one. You can easily get the card from the mini market. So usually, if you go to mini market, you can ask for e-money. This is quite popular, e-money or flash. This one.
Yes.
So e-money. So there's two, e-money and flash. Flash is right below e-money. So those two is quite popular. And then you can use this card for KRL, for MRT, and Transjakarta. So just one card for all the transportations.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And these mini markets, are they also available at the train stations?
Yes, yes, they do. So it's very easy. I mean, if let's say you don't have the card yet, or let's say you miss your card, so you can just grab it easily from the mini market.
Great. I myself, I like to collect this type of
The card.
Yeah. It's like a souvenir.
Exactly. And then they usually come out with like different design to celebrate like something.
That would be
Yeah, I think
especially if it's
it's
like an
interesting.
time. Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, it's a good souvenir too.
Okay, this is my favorite part. Okay, what is
So yeah, other than those transportations that we already talked about just now, so if you don't know yet, in Indonesia, well, especially in the big cities like Jakarta, again, because the traffic is quite, can be bad during like rush hour especially. So we have some options to ease our commuting life. One of them is by using a motorcycle. So in Indonesia, if you know Uber, so in Indonesia we have our local Uber called Gojek. So Gojek, they provide different services. So you can order motorcycle, you can order cars, and then you can buy food as well. You can, yeah, they have different kind of service if you go on their application. But
and I can see that this Gojek, like usually like in Western countries, they don't
Mm-hmm.
have that motorbike option, but it looks like
Exactly.
it's Muslim friendly. How?
Uh-huh.
So like,
Mm-hmm.
from
Exactly.
people who are not from Indonesia, they're not
Mm-hmm.
used to being on a I myself,
Auto
I'm not
myself.
that
Mm-hmm.
comfortable yet. But how is there any tips?
I
Yeah.
thought because yeah, I think for some countries, I know there are countries where motorcycle, yeah, riding motorcycle is not the norm, so it can be like quite frightening to see motorcycles everywhere on the road. But yeah, it's very common in Jakarta. So everyone basically, even us as a Muslimah, we can also ride a motorcycle like this. But what I usually do is, if you see the picture of the lady in hijab there, you don't have to grab on the
Yes.
shoulder of the driver, so you don't
Oh
have to
my
do
God.
that.
But
So
that
you can,
for you need like a good sense of stability. Like
yeah,
I don't think
exactly.
I'm that stable enough. So
So
what's another
what?
option?
So what I usually do, this I do it as well to myself. So I usually grab the back side of the motorcycle as pictured here. So again,
That's smart.
it's probably, yeah, you have to take some time to be able to like have that stability to be on the motorcycle. But yeah, one of the way to, because
I've never
I'm sure,
thought of that. I've never thought.
yeah,
I
yeah, so
always
this is
wanted
what I usually do, because I
like
don't want to grab the drivers, I
yes,
don't
yes.
want to
I mean
put
like
my
countries like this, like Jakarta, Thailand.
mm-hmm,
I would
mm-hmm,
want to order
ride the
a
motorcycle.
motorbike, but how do I feel comfortable and safe?
And
That's how I've always
mm-hmm,
wanted to know, how do these people do it? And thank
mm-hmm,
you for sharing this with
mm-hmm.
us. That's a very
So yeah,
great.
I think this is also a trick. Like if you see again the lady, you can put your back in front of you, so there's a space between you and the
Oh,
driver.
okay.
So I think
Okay.
that's
So
one of the
the
tip as
trick is
well.
to carry a backpack. All right.
Uh, so put it in the middle of you and the driver. Not only that, it's safer because like you can hold your own bag, but it's also like, uh, yeah, you can put a gap there. So yeah, you
And this
probably it's more comfortable for you. Mm.
and this blue transportation, Gia.
Yeah,
It's
this
like a
blue.
tuk-tuk. It's like a
Yeah,
tuk-tuk.
it's like a tuk-tuk, but it's the Jakarta's version, so we call it bajai. But what's interesting is you don't find it like in all over Jakarta. It's very limited right now. If you remember, we talked about Bendungan Hilir or Ben Hill earlier. So you can find Bajai in Ben Hill, basically in central Jakarta, and then in some other parts of Jakarta, but not all. So when you see this, you can definitely try it, but make sure you ask for the price first. So tell your destination and then ask for the price, and then you can try to negotiate the price, because it's okay to negotiate. So for example, if let's say the driver asks for 20,000 rupiah, you can probably go down to 15,000. Yeah, but so hopefully you can get the deal there.
Inshallah, inshallah. But is it like possible? Do you need cash or can you use card?
Oh, yeah, for Bajaj, prepare some cash. But for Gojek, you can pay with cash, or if on the application, you can also insert your debit card or credit card, or also use the GoPay, which is the payment there. So you don't need to have cash with you.
Okay.
So
Thank you so
that's
much for that. That's very interesting. I definitely, inshallah, and I'm sure the ladies who are watching here, if they want to,
uh,
they definitely would want feel more comfortable, confidence in riding,
yeah.
ordering the Gojek motorbike.
Because it's very normal, yeah, it's very normal in Jakarta to ride a motorcycle, and you're not going to be the only one. Like the people surround you will be on
That's gonna
Gojek as well.
boost your confidence even more. Yeah,
Yeah.
mashallah. So what are these, Gia?
Okay, so the next one, okay, well, maybe we're not really. like going to the mall when we're traveling. I don't. But for some people who are interested in malls, so this is Sarina. Sarina is the first mall in Jakarta. So this is very it's unique for some people. They have some stories with Sarina, and they just did some renovation, so it looks new, but inside it you can still find some old stuff. For example, like the first escalator. So as you can see, this is the first escalator in Indonesia, which is used back in 1966. So it's no longer working, but they still place it inside the Sarina, which is quite interesting to know as well. And you can also find some souvenirs. So you can find batik, like what I'm wearing right now. It's a type of batik as well. Yeah, you can find batik, different types of souvenir, and then there's a food court as well in Sarina, which they have different types of traditional food from all around Indonesia. So if you want to have like mini Indonesia in one place, you can definitely go to this food court in Sarina.
That's
Mm,
nice, especially for people who do not want to walk so much. Would you say
right.
Pasar Seni in KL, like a bit, is it
Mm,
that kind of vibe?
but kinda, but maybe pasar seni in KL it's more specific for like souvenirs. But this one is it's small. They still have cafes. They have
Okay,
the
interesting.
shopping lots as well.
So it's both modern and old.
Yeah, and you can see the history of Sarina as well inside the mall. So there's a bit of a museum side of this mall as well.
Okay, that's cool. I definitely want to check that out.
Hmm.
Okay. Yes.
Nah.
Southeast Asia. When it comes to Southeast Asia, countries
Mm-hmm.
like Indonesia and Malaysia were like the
Yes,
top. Alhamdulillah, mashallah, when it comes to modern
mashallah.
fashion. So what can we
Exactly.
expect? You know,
Mm-mm.
Muslimah, when they go to Jakarta, they want to know what can they buy
So
and
yeah,
where should they
it
go.
exactly. So when it comes to modest fashion, okay, you can basically buy everything in Jakarta, like from the affordable to like a more expensive price. So there are some places where you can get your modest clothes in Jakarta. So first place is Tanah Abang. So that green building. So it's a huge market. Basically, you can find everything there, but mostly people come here to buy clothes, especially modest clothes. As you can see, you can buy hijab, you can buy dress, and this place again especially crowded during Ramadan, like because people want to find, usually during it we want to have
You
new
buy
clothes,
stuff.
yeah, new stuff, which is like uh the same for the whole family. So you can buy that uniform for your family in Tanah Abang. So for Tanah Abang, you can find from I think they have a quite a wide range price as well. So you can find the cheaper one, you can find a more expensive one as well. But if let's say you want to be in a more comfortable place, you can go to FX Sudirman. So it's another mall in Jakarta. But what's unique here, so on this fourth floor, if I'm not mistaken, you can find like different shops from different local designer. So modest local designers. So this is the hijab type is only one of them. So you can find different style. You can find hijabs, the
All the
tops, the
latest
bottoms,
modest fashion in
basically
FX.
everything. So if
Right.
you want to see the latest modest fashion in Indonesia, you can come to FX Sudirman. And
Okay.
don't
Remember
forget,
this.
yeah, to prepare your card and your money.
I think if I were to go to Jakarta, inshallah,
Mhm.
let's say on the very last day, so that
Uh,
if you come there on the second day, oh, tomorrow I want to go again. Oh no.
exactly. It's not gonna be enough for a day.
That's true. never be enough.
Mm-mm.
But yeah, okay. People talk about Indonesia, people always associate it with Bali.
With
But
Bali,
huge,
exactly. Mm-mm.
huge country. Like we saw the map just now, the map.
Mm-mm.
See,
Uh-uh.
so what is
Yeah.
Bali? And
Uh-uh.
how can, Muslim solo travelers move around in Indonesia in
Mm-hmm.
English? Like we
Mm-hmm.
have a question from Salma Khalid. Like
Okay.
if okay, I would like to travel from one end of Indonesia to another.
Uh-huh.
What means of
Uh-huh.
transportation would you advise a solo female traveler
From one
to
end. So,
use?
sorry, can you repeat that
From
again?
one
From one
end
end to
of
another. Mm-mm.
Indonesia to another.
Mm-hmm.
What means of transportation would you advise a solo female traveler to use?
Okay. So from one, uh, I think depends. So if it's one end to another, I think depends on where you are. So for example, if let's say you're in the Java Island, so you can have different types of transportation from plane. We have bus as well. We have train as well. But let's say if you want to travel to Sumatra, so it's another island. It's easier for you to travel by plane because they don't have a train system yet, I
What
guess.
about the ferry? Is
Mm.
there like any ferry perhaps?
Ferry, yeah, it can be, but it takes days
Okay.
to for you to travel by ferries unless if you want to travel from Java Island to Sumatra Island. So there's a small part that you have to travel by ferry, and it's only like 1 hour. But other than that, like if you want to travel, let's say from Java Island to Kalimantan or to Sulawesi, it takes like 3 to 5 days
Mm.
by ferry. So
I think
yeah,
it
if let's
depends
say,
with your
mm-mm,
motivation, how
yes,
much time can you afford to be in
uh,
Indonesia,
yeah,
and yeah, your comfortability. But back to our lovely screen here, what is beyond Bali and how can, yeah. But first, what is this? When
mm-hmm,
people think of Indonesia, immediately Bali, but there's more.
yeah,
How can perhaps like, oh, and one thing that people think like everything is halal in Indonesia, but
mm-hmm,
Southeast
it's not.
Asians may know, but Muslim who are maybe they don't have Southeast Asian relatives,
Mm-hmm,
they're not
mm-hmm,
familiar with Southeast Asia, they might not
mm-hmm,
know that Southeast Asia, although Indonesia's Muslim majority country, but
mm-hmm,
have other ethnicities. So
yes.
what do you have to say about
Mm-mm. So yeah, like as you mentioned just now, so even though we are a Muslim majority country, but we are a multi-religion, we're multicultural, so you cannot expect that everything is halal here. So especially in some places, in some provinces, they have other religion majority. So yeah, you have to be aware as well of what are the things, especially when it comes to food, of course. And when it comes to halal logo, we actually just have a new halal logo. So previously it's the green one, the round with green color, and then now we have the new one, which is a purple. So it might be confusing for some because it's still a combination of these two halal logo, but hopefully, inshallah, by this year they can have all the same across all platform, across all restaurants, so that it doesn't confuse people. But yeah, you can find these two logo as for now to find out what's halal uh, in the products.
and what's the photo on the right?
Oh
Is
yeah,
that
so
self-claim halal logo?
so this one again, because we're talking about Bali as that's one of the island that is Indonesia's famous for. So Bali, for your information, Bali is a Hindu majority island. So you can expect that not everything is halal there. So how to find out which one is halal food, which one is halal eating places. So other than find the one with halal Indonesian halal logo, you can also find something. Yeah, they usually have the halal logo that they put there. And also you can see masakan khas Jawa. So, or some of the sellers, they put like Arabic writings, usually Bismillah.
Bismillah.
So that's
Like
that's
Quran
to indicate.
scriptures that we put in a frame and hang.
Mm-mm. Yes, or something like that. So you can find like some Arabic writings inside the eating place as well. So that's to uh you can if you want to eat in places like that, you can be sure that the owner is Muslim. Mm-mm.
Okay.
Again, because not everything is halal, there are some words that you have to watch out when it comes to non-halal food. So if you see the first picture is suike and you see a frog picture, yeah, because they sell frog meat. It's
Okay.
famous frog meat. So it's famous in some areas in Central Java. So you can see the name is Suike, and then they usually have frog picture. And then another thing is sate jamu or
Okay.
guguk. So they sell dog meat.
Oh,
Mm-mm.
oh.
So it's either jamu or guguk, and they usually have the picture of the dog as well. So you have to
This is
watch it
very
in there.
interesting. I would like to just point out because, like, let's say if you don't understand Indonesian at
Mm-hmm.
all, you'll
Yes.
feel like, okay, the frog maybe you wouldn't. No, sorry, the dog maybe you would not.
Mm-hmm.
You would understand, but the frog maybe
Mm-hmm.
you will feel like it's just a cartoon. You would not.
Yeah, yeah,
It
yeah.
would not cross
Expect
your
that
mind that they sell
the frog meat.
frog
Mm-mm.
meat. Thank you so much for
So
sharing that
yeah,
with us.
but the thing is, jamu, we have another word jamu, but it's for traditional drink. But you can see the difference of the shop. Like for jamu, where they sell dog meat, it's usually yeah sate jamu. Sate is satay, the one that you put the meat in skewer. And then for jamu, the traditional drink, you can see the shop has this different types of traditional drinks in sachet. So it looks very different. So you can inshallah you can differentiate those two.
And I would just like to point out that
Mm-hmm.
jamu is very interesting souvenirs just for you to bring back.
Yes.
I don't think you can bring back a lot because later you'll be questioned by your immigration. But
Yeah.
I would love, like
Mm-hmm.
me, myself personally, I
Mm-hmm.
would love to get some souvenirs which has like healthy
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
not
it's healthy. It's something that you can bring as a souvenir. So that's a good idea actually. I never thought of that. But
but
oh yeah, I
no,
want to I
okay.
want to point out as well. This is only some of them, but if you travel to other parts of Indonesia, for example, in Sumatra, in Sulawesi, they have another word for, let's say, for pork, for dog. So yeah, you have to watch out that as well. But this is just some of the words that you can find in, especially in Java Island.
Java
Mm-mm,
Island. So bear
mm-mm,
that in mind, lady.
mm-hmm,
Also,
mm-mm.
what is pork in Indonesian language,
Oh,
Gia?
pork. Pork is babi.
Pork is babi.
Babi. Babi. But
So
in Sumatra, they have another word for it.
it's
Uh,
another
it's
one.
it's
I think
lapo.
you I
Mm-mm.
think you can ask Lapo or you can ask Gia later. Her Instagram. She will share with
Uh-huh.
us
Mm-hmm.
what is pork
Okay.
in Sumatra. Beyond Bali, what is beyond Bali? Just now, before you
Mm-hmm.
start, just now Khadija said,
Mm-hmm.
besides Bali, what island or places would you recommend? And we are
Yes,
getting to that. Okay,
we
Gia.
are getting there. Okay. Do we have a map of Bali and Lombok? I think we have, right?
Yes,
If
we
I'm
do.
not mistaken. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so
This is
yeah,
very
as
beautiful.
as
You just
as I mentioned before, you were going to talk about something beyond Bali. So what is beyond Bali? It's actually Lombok. So if you see here, yeah, there's a little map here. So Bali is a small island, and then like right beside it, it's Lombok. So I mentioned earlier that Bali is the majority is Hindu, but Lombok the majority is Muslim. Even Lombok is known as an island with thousands of mosques, because yeah, this is you can like literally find a lot of mosques in Lombok, and then because it's Muslim majority, and then like a lot of like the beginning of Islam coming from this island as well. So for some people, maybe especially for us, for Muslim solo traveler, it's maybe can be more comfortable for us to be in Lombok rather than in Bali. And yeah, how to, you might ask how to travel from Bali to Lombok, because yeah, it's very close to each other. So first thing first, you can, of course, you can travel by plane, but a simpler way, as you can see here, from Padang Bay. So the famous one in Lombok that you must visit is Gili Trawangan here. So these three, there's Gili Trawangan, Gili Meno, Gili Air. So those three islands you can visit. So it's very easy for you to travel from Bali using a boat.
Using
So boat. It's 2 hours, 2 hours travel from Bali to Gili Trawangan, and you can find different types of boat, from the affordable one, or even if you want a bit more luxury boat, you can have it as well. So different budgets, you can have all the options here. And
mashallah.
then and then if you can fly as well, of course it's only like 30 minutes fly from Bali to Lombok, but then the airport is a bit far from these three islands, the Gili Trawangan, so you have to travel like another 1 hour by car, and then using a boat as well to reach Gili Trawangan. So I
And
think
I
if you
think
or
the best, if it was me, I would just take the
Mhm.
boat and go back to.
Yeah. So like if let's say you want to visit Bali, and then you can just go directly to Lombok as well.
So,
Uh,
like we said earlier, Bali, because Bali is an
mm-hmm,
international tourist destination,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
for sure, English is you can
Yes.
easily English in Indonesia, and I assume Jakarta as well. What
Mm-hmm,
about
mm-hmm.
Lombok and other parts of Indonesia? Is
Yeah.
it easy for Muslim solo travelers to travel with English, or
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
they have to point out
Mm.
so to be?
So yeah, because in Bali, Lombok, Jakarta, and some tourist destinations, I think it's very easy for you to travel around with English, because yeah, a lot of foreigners as well, and these people, they're used to communicate with the traveler, with the foreigners as well. So it's easy to travel around. And then it's just maybe if you go to some other places that are not uh, travel destination, it might be a bit challenging for you to use English. But if like, you just want to travel those famous travel destination, it's okay with English is not a problem. I just want to remind you, if you remember the motorcycle that we talked about previously, you can also use that service in Bali and in Lombok. So basically, that Gojek, the service can be used in many different cities in Indonesia. So it's not only in Jakarta, but you can use it comfortably in Bali and in Lombok.
Even you have
Mm.
a picture of a bike over here.
Yeah.
So if you want more, you want to move freely, independently, then
Mhm.
rent a bike. Is it, Gia?
Yeah, so in Lombok, the same thing in Bali as well. So you can, if let's say you want to explore on your own and you're comfortable with riding a motorcycle, or maybe you want to rent a car, it's you can do so. And then, but especially if you are in Gili Trawangan, so the three islands that we talk about here, okay? So you can travel around the island using a bicycle. So you can rent a bicycle because,
Okay.
uh, and then you can stay in this like small hut, very unique, and you can see like the sea in front of you, and of course you can also try different water activities. And
It's
if
very
you're and then if you like diving or snorkeling, or this is perfect place for you to be in Lombok. But of course, this is not all. I mean, like Lombok
There's so
it's
much
a
more to
small
discover.
that's so much more to talk about Lombok. As you can see, even though it's like a small island, but like you can go around it has Rinjani Mountain. If let's say you like a hiking mountain, and then there are different beaches as well, other than this three islands. So yeah, if let's say you want something different, you don't want to travel to Bali, you can go to Lombok instead.
Interesting, mashallah. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Mm-hmm.
Gili Trawangan, definitely put that in
Yes.
your bucket list, ladies. But
Uh,
what I wanted to touch upon just now is
mm-hmm.
that maybe, like you said, like, for like international travel
Mm-hmm.
destinations in Indonesia, it would be
Mm-hmm.
easy
Mm-hmm.
Muslims to communicate in
Mm-hmm.
English, but perhaps
Mm-hmm.
Indonesia, I feel like it would be easier for Muslim solo travelers who
Mm-hmm.
can understand basic Indonesian language for them to
Uh-uh.
move around. It would be easier for
Mm-hmm.
them compared to people who don't
Mm-hmm.
understand Indonesian
Yeah.
language.
Maybe like you can learn a little bit like how to ask for price. So but usually or you can always use the what is it, Google Translate as well. That's the easier way. But yeah, it's good. Yeah, I think it's always good to have like a basic language when you want to travel somewhere, right? So yeah. Uh,
Very true. But this is a lot of knowledge. Thank you so much, Gia.
okay,
We have,
hopefully.
but what is
Oh,
this
final.
beautiful motif, Gia? Can Indonesian batik, is it?
It's a batik. Yeah, there are many different types of batik. Even this one that I'm wearing right now, it's called parang. The pattern is called parang, but this is only one of it, and it's like already modified because it's quite colorful. But if you go to Yogyakarta, it's another destination in Java Island. It's usually colored in like uh brown and black, so that's like the original color. And then yeah, this one, the flowery batik pattern, it's only one of the patterns. Like you can find many more patterns in Yogyakarta and in many different places in Indonesia.
Very beautiful. Thank you so much, Gia,
Mm-hmm.
for taking the time to be with us.
Uh-huh.
I'm sure the community has learned a lot. I'm sure
Mm-mm.
I myself,
Inshallah.
inshallah, they
Mm-mm.
have gained some knowledge and they can feel confident, especially
Mm.
riding the motorbike.
Oh, that's definitely. I hope that everyone who traveled to Indonesia and to Jakarta, everywhere in Indonesia, basically have the eager, yeah, have the braveness to to try
Inshallah,
motorcycle,
inshallah.
yeah.
So maybe like your final words before
Oh
we go.
wow.
Where can they follow you?
Okay. Okay. So yeah, final words, I guess. Yeah, well, to me, I believe that traveling isn't just about visiting places, taking pictures, and posting it on social media. I do believe that traveling is a valuable learning experience. So, especially when you do it solo, that's a chance for you to learn about yourself, take care of yourself, and then trust your intuition, while at the same time, you can also learn about the community, about the story, the history, the culture of the destination that you go to. So yeah, take that as a learning process, as a learning experience, so that you bring something home as a memory, as something that you learn. Mm. So
Inshallah.
yeah, if let's say you want to ask more about Indonesia, about yeah, how to travel around, do follow me on TikTok and on Instagram as well. My handle is Gianovi. So hope to see you there in
Yeah,
my social media. And thank
inshallah.
you, Fariha, for having me as well, and for everyone who's been tuning in for the past an hour,
One
I guess.
hour. One
Yeah.
hour. Alhamdulillah. So for any ladies who have any other questions, you can
Mm-hmm.
directly ask Gia afterwards in her personal social media. Do
Yes.
share with us as well. We would like to know more. But yeah, we are excited to follow up with you,
Yeah.
in store with you,
So,
inshallah. May Allah ease everything for everything you
amin,
have shared
amin.
with us. So also Happy New Year, Jin.
Yeah, Happy New Year too.
Thank you
Hope
so
to
much.
travel more in this new year.
Inshallah.
Mm-mm. Mm.
Thank you. So that is all from us, ladies. So for those who have maybe just drop by the live like in the middle, you can
Yes.
watch the replay after this. Share this with
Oh,
your
nice.
family.